Hi, welcome back to Elements of Poetry. My name is Kara, and today we're going to be revisiting our old element from last week, repetition, before moving on to our new element of the week. As said, our element from last week was repetition, and we have a contribution from one of our viewers showing a kind of repetition in their poem. So let's take a look at their poem, What May I Be for You, America? What may I be for you, America? My country, 'tis of thee. What may I be for you, America? What may I do to prove that I too sing your name? I too walk your land and hear the ghosts of your past. What may I be for you, America? The descendant of a slave? A categorical other captured with my hand on my heart, your chant on my lips? What may I be for you, America? For when I sing your name, I sing the fame and famine. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of uncertainty. Of thee I sing. This poem starts with and ends with part of the lyrics to the song My Country, 'Tis of Thee. By doing that, the speaker, the poet, is providing a context with which we can then view the rest of the text of the poem. Each stanza starts with the same two lines. What may I be for you, America? And repeating these lines emphasizes the sense of uncertainty that the speaker has and their desire to get an answer from an entity that really can't answer this question. A country can't answer a question. Each stanza addresses a different kind of identity that the speaker takes on, is burdened with, etc. And so you get here a series of questions, or a series of possible answers, rather, to the same question. Again, driving home that point of uncertainty, that sense of longing for an answer, and a sense of belonging. Thank you so much to our viewer that contributed this poem. We really appreciate you. And now we're going to move on to our next element, metaphors. A metaphor is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. You can think of it this way. Metaphors are often considered a type of analogy. Another type of analogy you might have heard of would be a simile. A simile compares two things using like or as. Metaphors take out the words like or as and create a direct comparison. So instead of saying, her eyes shone like the stars, or her eyes were as bright as the stars, you could say, her eyes were bright stars. That would be a metaphor. Metaphors belong under the larger umbrella of figurative language, which uses devices like metaphors to create phrases and sentences that are more colorful, persuasive, impactful, and get at the deeper meaning of the text, reading between the lines rather than just taking the words and phrases and sentences at face value. There are different parts to a metaphor, and we'll break this down by looking at arguably one of the most famous metaphors in history, coming from William Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and entrances. William Shakespeare, As You Like It. So again, there are two parts to a metaphor, the tenor and the vehicle. The tenor is the subject to which attributes are ascribed, in this case, the world. The vehicle is the object whose attributes are borrowed, aka the stage here. These parts may also be referred to as the ground instead of the tenor, and the figure instead of the vehicle. Etymologically speaking, metaphor is derived from the Latin word metaphora, which means carrying over, and from the Greek metaphora, which means to transfer. Meta means after, with, or across, which makes sense given the comparative nature of metaphor that we ascribe to the word today. There are different kinds of metaphors out there. One that we see all the time is the allegory. An allegory uses a story, an idea, a picture to get across a deeper meaning, and that deeper meaning is usually spiritually, morally, or religiously inclined. So too, is it with the parable, yet another kind of metaphor? Allegories tend to be longer works. We typically see this in literature. We have books like Moby Dick, Animal Farm, and Life of Pi that have all been classified as allegories. Shorter stories, anecdotes with similar moral teachings would be considered a parable. So you have all of the different parables in the Bible, the Quran, and then you also have non-religious texts like Aesop's fables that are considered parables that have moral teachings at the end as well. Aside from these, we also have another famous kind of subgenre or subcategory of metaphor, the hyperbole. A hyperbole is an exaggeration of something to illustrate a point. Today we're going to look at an example of an extended metaphor with Langston Hughes' iconic poem, Mother to Son. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks on it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time I's been a-climbin' on and reachin' landin's and turnin' corners, and sometimes goin' in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you set down on the stairs, 'cause you find it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now, for I's still goin', honey. I's still climbin', and life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So here we have a poem that's an extended metaphor, and we have the speaker, the mother, telling her son about life and using stairs as a way to explain more about the perils of life. With a crystal stair, this would be stairs that are smooth, that are shiny, that are free of obstacles and splinters and anything else that she brings up, that are nicely laid out. And instead, the stairs that she describes are full of these obstacles and perils, dangers, inconsistencies, and whatnot. And she continues on with the metaphor to say that life is about climbing up those stairs. It's about weathering that journey. And so it's not just that life is a stair, but the act of living is climbing up those stairs, encouraging her son at the end, of course, to keep climbing, to keep striving, rather than sitting on the stairs, getting stuck in one single part of life. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Elements of Poetry. This is our last episode, but we would still love to hear from you. Feel free to leave your metaphors down in the comments section below. We would love to hear what you have written. We will be starting the series from the very beginning, our Black Poets Then and Now series, starting this coming Thursday. So be sure to tune in and stay connected. As always, we hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay creative. Bye!